connect my software here. It goes boom and then boom. It should work now. It says I'm live. Yeah, I'm broadcasting somewhere. I don't know where it's going, but it says I'm live.
Yeah, it's different now.
Let's put my music back on. I don't know who was watching me before.
Yeah, it's on now.
I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, it's on. Let's pop this down. While everybody's waiting to come on, I'm going to bring up one of my music videos here. I'll bring on Blue's Still Gonna Get You. It's a brand new song that I just released just a couple of weeks ago.
Tide's boosted.
Tide
for makeup
boosted.
stains.
Ooh, Tide. I'm so glad we heard from Tide.
To offer in minutes.
And get the.
While we're waiting for people to come on and join us, I'm going to play my music video. Blue's Still Gonna Get You. It's a brand new song of mine that I released a couple of weeks ago. And for all of you grubby little bastards, it is copyrighted. The Copyright Office in Washington, D.C. So if you want to steal it, I'll see you in court. Ha. Can you see me on there? What's that?
Going back.
Going back where?
You can try to run and hide.
I have audio problems.
Middle of the night. By getting out of
No, it's there.
on a red-eye flight. Drown
Thank
all
you.
your sorrows in whiskey and
This is the song that I wrote
your face. Make everybody
myself,
feeling fine.
and the words and lyrics are all mine. The arrangement is mine. The instrumentation is all mine. The guitar, bass, harmonies, vocals, lyrics are all mine. But the drums are AI. There's a drum feature on GarageBand called Magic Drums, and you put in the tempo and the key, and you start playing, and the drums follow. You just think you've got. It's kind of like having a live drummer. It's not exactly. And it's just a fascinating thing. It's exactly what I wanted. So I didn't have to go out and hire a live drummer, because I just don't have the money for the live studio stuff anymore, so I do this all at home. But I created the video itself all in Imagine Art AI.
No matter what you say, no matter what you do.
After all these live streams, I'm finally figuring out I've got to click go live in YouTube and then turn on the streaming hardware. Enough of what you can see up there. Here comes one of my fine guitar solos. I really had a lot of fun making this video because the idea was I was trying to have these people that were struggling with their depression or their blues, and I just, no matter what they did, if they drank or they were taking drugs, the blues still followed them around till it eventually consumed them. But they meet each other in a bar, these two people with their blues, and they end up doing the magic nasty.
There's nothing you can say or do.
Here's my second solo. I played both solos with my Taylor T5Z Classic. I'm a huge fan of Mark Knopfler, so I do I call it this claw type of lead guitar. Ooh, lead guitar playing. This was just my ring finger, my thumb.
Well, there's nothing you can say or do. They're still gonna get ya. Well, there's nothing you can say or do.
It's kind of a Halloween theme.
They're still gonna get ya. Well, there's nothing you can say or do. They're still gonna get ya.
So I really like that. It's a great song. I love that song. I love it. Do we have any viewers? I don't know. We got 4. Hey there, Greg. How's it going? Good evening, sir. I think it's Greg. And the font on this is so tiny. Greg Saluzzi. Hi, Greg. So speaking of the Halloween theme, I this last weekend, last Saturday, they had this amazing festival in Sandusky, Ohio, called the Sandusky Witches Walk. And let me bring up their website. I had a blast at this thing. Let's see, what am I showing you now? I've got the my second camera on. Sandusky Witches Walk. And every year they have like 1,000 witches show up to Sandusky, Ohio, which is where Cedar Point is. And they've been doing this since 2012. And they all, they dance and they sing and they walk around and people are drinking. And I just had this magical time, just a great time. And my friend Logan invited me. And what they did is they had the witches and the pirates. My friend Logan dressed as a pirate. And it's all kind of like cosplay type stuff. And the witches are protected by the pirates, because the pirates and the witches in witch folklore have this agreement where the pirates provide protection for the witches. Something like that's what I heard people saying in the crowd. So Logan was there, and I met a bunch of his friends, and I met some people just as I was walking through the crowd. And I had just a fascinating time. And I'll show you some of the photographs I took here. Now, this is a thumbnail I created. Now, Jessica Jordan, who you see messaging me there, is one of the models I met in the crowd. But I do not know these two ladies' names, but this pirate right here is my friend Logan. And this is a thumbnail I created for this little slideshow on Facebook. These are some of the beautiful ladies I saw. I believe, if I'm correct, there's a gentleman, I don't remember your name if you're watching, but these are his daughters. This is his wife, and this is his daughter. And I don't know these other two beautiful ladies, but there's lots of people there. Just, okay, look at this, the fascinating costumes. I mean, isn't that a great hat that the witch in the middle has there? I mean, the skull and the gray roses and the skeletal hand. I thought the costuming was just fascinating. And see, I found this fun because when I was a kid in college, Logan and I went to Ohio University. And Ohio University is well known nationwide for their Halloween party. And there's a street in Ohio University called Court Street, where the students take over the street, and they're all wearing, on Halloween night, they take over the street, all dressed in costumes. Some people are dressed, some people aren't, but it's like Mardi Gras. And people just having a great time, like thousands upon thousands of people. It's like shoulder to shoulder, students and adults and professors, and just everybody's having a good time, getting wasted, getting drunk, whatever. I never saw any fights, never somebody get in trouble. And it's an absolute great time. And this is very similar to that. There was like at least 1,000 people here, and everybody peaceful, having a good time, no fights. I believe this is the gentleman and his wife. I believe he's a warlock, I think. I'm not certain. Here's some of the people that were there. That's my friend Logan with this beautiful pirate lady. I love her colors that she picked. The purple or the lavender, just really nice. And Logan's costume is very cool if you see it in person. I believe he said he had a friend design and make it. And this is another lady that was just everything was so well done. And people were so polite and friendly and warm. And this is, I think, I see her corset in this is just amazing. Just a beautiful corset. And the whole thing is just, it's so well done and tasteful. None of it was tacky. None of it was audacious or slutty. Here's a warlock, I believe. I believe this is the husband, I think. I might be wrong. But he messaged me. I think he's the husband of, I could be wrong, of these two ladies. I'm not positive. So let me go back over here. And this is my friend Logan standing in front of the State Theater. Witches Walk, October 18th, welcomes Guinness Book of World Records. So this was a Guinness Book of World Records event. And Guinness Book was there. They were sitting underneath this marquee. And what they were doing is they were counting how many witches were in this cordoned off area. So in downtown Sandusky, there's this beautiful downtown area of buildings, at least a quarter-mile long, just of buildings built probably in the 1890s. Looks like the late 1800s architecture. They cordoned it off with these steel gates. And all the witches were inside that. And they counted. Somehow they counted a head count. You had to have a pass. You had to be wearing a pass. And you couldn't be just a regular person like me walking around because I wasn't dressed up. I was dressed like this. And they counted there was like 1,000 witches. So they broke a record for the most walking witches in an area. And then they all did this witches dance. So they had a PA system that had speakers placed about every, I don't know, 200 yards or something. And they all danced to this witches song. And it was all choreographed. It was just like watching like a marching band. This lady here was really cool. She came up to me and I think she's a voodoo priestess. And you know, there's some of you out there that are Christian who say, Pete, you're playing with the devil that day. You were playing with the devil. No, I wasn't playing with the devil. I've looked into the eyes of the devil, and it doesn't come in the form of a warlock. Some of it shares my DNA with me. But she was fascinating. She came up right up to me. I don't know what she was saying. She sounded like she was from like New Orleans, or like down there somewhere. And I thought she was going to bite my chest. And my friend said, hey, don't move. Just let her do her thing, because you never know what a warlock will do. Forgive me, young lady, if you're not a warlock. I don't know what you were, but I had a magical night. I had a great time. And I love this lady's outfit. She has like this leather vest on and the green makeup with the green contacts. Just amazing colors. And this is Jessica Jordan. Now, Jessica is a model. I didn't know who she was when I snapped this picture. I walked up to her and I snapped the picture. I said, hey, can I take your picture? And she's like, yeah, sure. And she caught my eye. Out of all the thousands of people, there was something about her that caught my eye. And I met her and her fiance, JB. And Jessica, if you're watching, I think your fiance's name is JB. And I actually said, hey, I posted this picture on YouTube, or not on YouTube, on Facebook. And I said, hey, does anybody know who this lady is? Because I really wanted to do a photo shoot with her, because I was standing there with another guy, a warlock of some sort, and she walked by, and we both were like, wow, who is that? And he goes, he's Hollywood. She's Hollywood. Look at her. She's Hollywood. And I said, what do you mean? She's an actress from Hollywood? And he goes, no, but she could be. Look at her. And there was just something about the way she carried herself through the crowd, above and beyond everybody else in this crowd of witches and warlocks. And anyway, long story short, I talked to her, and I put a message out on Facebook. I said, who is this person? And she wrote to me. She said, I'm Jessica Jordan. I'm like, oh, crap. So we've been chatting about doing a photo shoot together. So it was a fun time. This is a picture I took. There was this amazing lady up on like she wasn't on stilts, but she had a pole, and it looked like it was harnessed to her, like maybe she was wearing a body harness of some sort. She was I think 2 stories above us. And this is another picture. Let me see if I can find that video I made of her. I can't go there. Let's go to PTPOP's channel. I can't play the audio because YouTube has already given me a ding for this video. I might not have. Maybe I have the video over here. So we'll finish the pictures here. This is this warlock. He had this amazing outfit, but he was on stilts, or he had these stilts where his feet were in the stilts, and he was walking. He was a good 15 feet above the ground, and he had this big pole with the ball on it. I can't think what you call that. And this is the woman that was like 2 stories above him, so it looked like he was making her go up in the air. It was just such a cool effect. So that's the end of that. Let me go back to my Facebook page here. This witch, witchy witch, where are you, witch? That's not it. I swear I posted it. Oh, here she is. I mean, this is one of them. So she was. Oops, I don't want to do that. Where'd you go, hon? Let's go. I put the music in. I put the moon in behind her through CapCut, I think. But she was actually floating around in the sky above the city, above the streets. And it was just a great time. I just had a blast. And the city of Sandusky was so nice. It was clean. And, Cedar Point's like right down, or like a mile from this downtown area. So it was a really good time. And if you get a chance to go, I would go to this. I would definitely go. It was fun. It was fun. And, some people are all bent about Jesus and the devil and all this stuff. This has nothing to do with the devil. I mean, I guess if you're really a hardcore, I'm not even going to go there. I'm not even going to talk about that. I'm just not. I had a great time, and I met some great people, and I made at least one friend. Oh, here's the other video I made. Here, this is the same lady. Let's see what have I got here on the screen. We'll bring her up. Let's mute that. So I took this into DaVinci Resolve and turned it black and white. And it just looks like a witch on Halloween night. This is the real sky of Sandusky with the buildings behind her. I just had so much fun with this, playing with the pictures and stuff like that. It was a great time. So if you get a chance, go to Sandusky Witches Walk next summer. They have it once a year. I think they have it every... Not summer. It's not summer anymore, is it? As I sit here with a space heater on in my room, in my freezing cold studio in my house. Let's get the witch off the picture there. Let's bring my puss back up here. So hey, everybody, who's out here tonight? I haven't looked at anybody. We still have Greg. We had 3 people on here. We have 13 views. I guess people aren't interested in the Witches Walk. So this has been a great week. I released my crowdfunding campaign on Seed and Spark. It was released on Monday, and I have made a whopping $25 of the $5,000 I'd like to make. And, making a film is not cheap. And I'm going to play this little video here to kind of promote the campaign. Let's bring this up here. And we'll bring this up here now.
Thank you for calling Vector Tel. Your call may be recorded for quality assurance purposes. Please listen carefully as our menu options have recently changed. For English, press 1.
Thank you for calling VectorTel. My name is Kevin. May I have your name and account number, please?
No, you son of a bitch. I am not going to give you my account number. You have my name. That should be enough to look up my account. What the hell's wrong with you? Are you stupid or something?
Hey there everybody, Peter Tompkins here with Skating Bear Studios in Cleveland, Ohio. Some of you may know me as PTPOP on YouTube.
The career that you've built has taken 5, 10, maybe 20 years of your life to master. You've studied the products, the procedures, the systems. You know them inside and out. But what if I told you that every customer service rep who supports the products you create or sell are given only 2 weeks to learn it all? That's right. 2 weeks to understand complex systems, memorize scripts, manage multiple software packages, and if they can't keep it up, there's something walked out the door. And that person that you're yelling at on the phone when you call into a call center, the one who seems confused or unsure, they probably don't know what they're doing. It's not because they're stupid or lazy or careless, but because they were never given the time or resource to truly learn the job. They were thrown into the deep end with impossible expectations and no lifeline. Only 2 weeks of training to learn everything they're expected to master, from the products to the systems to the sales scripts. In today's call centers, workers are constantly timed, recorded, and graded on their every word. They're told to smile through the phone while juggling irate customers, unrealistic metrics, and expected to be human computers, perfectly efficient, endlessly patient, and completely replaceable. It's a system designed for control, not for compassion. It's a system designed to cut corners, increase revenue, and it's not about customer service. It's about profit. How do I know this? I know because I lived this life as a call center rep for over 20 years. I've watched good people break under the pressure, carried out on stretchers. I've seen workers fired without warning, only to be replaced within days by someone new. And now, artificial intelligence is going to take their jobs. Millions of these jobs that feed families, are disappearing. And when that happens, it won't just be the workers who suffer. It will be entire communities. My documentary, Voices from the Call Center, pulls back the curtain on a world few ever see. It's a story about stress, burnout, and exploitation, but also about humanity, resilience, and the fight for dignity in a system that values numbers and profits over people. But I can't make this film alone. I need your help to finish this film, to fund production, editing, marketing, and outreach, so these stories can be heard. Your support isn't just helping to make a movie. It's helping to expose an injustice. It's helping to give millions of workers a voice. And it's helping us ask the question that corporations refuse to answer. What happens when the people are gone and the machines are all that's left? Every contribution, no matter the size, helps give a voice to the people behind the headset, those who answer your calls, solve your problems, and endure impossible conditions to survive. Thanks so much for your time and your support. I look forward to hearing from you. And that is just a promotional video for the Seed and Spark campaign to raise some funds. And I appreciate you all watching. This is something that I feel very passionate about. But if you join, I've got different levels. There's a $10 level, a $25 level. Any amount that you can afford would be greatly appreciated. We've got a $100 level, operations manager level for $150, $500 level, $1,500 level. And if you can afford a couple of dollars to help me support this, to get me up to my $5,000, my $5,000 goal, I'd greatly appreciate it. And I'll give you a little bit of insight or what this is like. There's a gentleman who I'd like to work with me on this film, but he wants to charge me $500 an hour, just as a consulting fee. $500 an hour, and I just don't have that kind of money. I just don't. And he's a very prominent, well-respected documentary filmmaker out of New York, a guy named David Hoffman. Great guy, but this is his living. This is what he does. And he's got videos of call centers. He's got videos of the call centers and telecommunications industry from the 1970s and 80s. I think maybe it's in the 80s and the 90s. I haven't seen all his videos yet, and it's going to cost me a serious amount of money to either have him. I don't think he's agreed to work with me because he's up there. You know, I'm fortunate that he's even given me the time of day. And I just discovered that in the state next door, in Indiana, that there's. Here, let me check. I think my audio is too loud here. Check. Can you hear me? Oh, I don't have my audio on. I didn't have my audio on. So I don't know if you guys could hear any of that. But anyway, I was playing this video for you because I need to raise money for the production of this film. The production of the film costs money. I'm not doing this because I'm a cheap bastard. I'm doing this because I have a message that the world needs to hear, and I desperately need everybody's support. And I'm going to repeat this because I don't think you heard it before. But for instance, there's a wonderful documentary filmmaker here on YouTube. And he's not just here. He's a very well-known documentary filmmaker, a wonderful guy named David Hoffman. And he has been kind enough to speak with me offline about using some of his videos in my production. And the reason he's talking to me about it is because he worked in the telecommunications industry. He was hired by AT&T and Verizon Wireless to make videos about the telecom industry. And he's got just a boatload of videos that I could use. And I suggested that maybe he could consult with me on this film. And his fee is very expensive. And no offense to you, David, if you happen to see this, but this is a guy who's very, very well respected. And I'm fortunate that he even gives me the time of day. I'm fortunate that he even writes to me because I'm just a schmuck who's been doing this for 40 years. I'm sorry, 40 years, for 4 or 5 years. He's been doing it for like 40. But in order for me to work with this gentleman, I need some cash. And I can't. I just don't have it. We just don't have that kind of money. So we'll see what happens. He's got some videos that I will have to license from him and pay him for. Just for a few seconds of video, I'm going to have to probably pay a nice chunk of change because this is what the man does for a living. But it's not just David. For instance, I've got to get down to... I just found out today that I did a video on this a couple years ago about how some of the prisons around the country have call centers in them. And as part of the rehabilitation process to try to get people reacclimated with the world outside, they give them job skills internally and they open up call centers. And we've talked about this, or I've talked about it. Well, there just happens to be one in the state next door to me. There's one in Indiana, the Indiana Women's Prison. I think that's what it's called. I think it's called the Indiana's Women's Prison. It's I think it's a federal penitentiary, maximum security, but they have certain women that they feel have been rehabilitated that will take inbound calls. I think it's business-to-business calls. I'm not positive. But in order for me to get into this prison, I've got to drive to Indiana. I think it's in central Indiana. It's got to be probably like a 7-8 hour drive. So that's going to cost money. They may want money from me to even, bother them. A lot of people that want to be in films or say they'll be in the film want to be paid. Not everybody is like that, but a lot of people, they think you're making a film. They think you got money. They go, show me the money, buddy. And we're not working together. I'll tell you, there was a guy I contacted in Indiana, completely different, not related to the prison system, but he was a cinematographer, and I told him I'm making this documentary. And he said, well, he said, I want $60,000. I'm like, $60,000? Just for my cinematographer? I mean, I just, it's insane what people ask for. And this was not somebody, his caliber of work was pretty good, but it wasn't $60,000 worth of work. And I'm leery to pay anybody that because he wanted $30,000 up front. And you see, I've hired cinematographers before, and they're not reliable. When you're dealing with artists, you're dealing with flaky people that their work ethic has a lot to be desired. Let's put it that way. and to dump money into a cinematographer when I can drive somewhere and set up the camera and the microphone and do just as good, if not better work than they do, I'm not going to bother with that. Unless I really know somebody well and trust them and have a lot of confidence in them. So to produce a film, it takes a lot of money. I'm not going to sit here and beg you for money, and that's not why, I had this live feed tonight. But if you have the extra cash, please consider donating some, even if it's just $1. So far, I've made a whopping $25. I don't even know if the $25 is still here, because somebody made a $25 donation. It looks to me like it's gone. So I don't know if they already withdrew it. But I don't know. I just don't know anymore. People are flaky these days. I don't know what's going on out there. What do we got here? We got TRG, I think. Hey, TRG, how's it going? I hope you make a video on call center agents being underpaid, especially if they are on tenured or managerial level. I got to tell you, I'm reading this book. Let me bring this book. I keep telling you everybody about her book. I'm going to bring this up. This is a book I'm reading by Debbie Goldman. It's called Disconnected: Call Center Workers Fight for Good Jobs in the Digital Age. And I'm only, like, Debbie, I don't know if you're probably not watching me, but if you are, I am riveted by this book, but I'm a slow reader. I just like to read like 15 pages at a time and digest it and come back to it the next day. So anyway, back in like 1976, I think maybe it was even earlier. I think it was 1968. Not the operators. There were operators, and I call them customer service reps. But back in 1968, the service reps that were predominantly women, it's like 90% women, were making $23,000 a year. Now keep in mind that figure, 1968. Union job, 23 grand a year, to have people call in and ask about their bill or add additional phones in their house. If you fast forward to my first job out of college in a call center, my first corporate job out in a call center, from 68 to 1990, all right? It's almost embarrassing. I don't even understand this. 20 years, 68, 78, 80, and 22 years, my starting salary out of college was $16,500 to work in a little 6-man call center. $16,500. That was my salary, and I couldn't live off of that. I couldn't live on my own. I had to stay with my mother unless I got an apartment with a friend. $23,000 or $24,000 in 1968 was a lot of money. You could do a lot with that. Now, when you talk about the title of Debbie's book, let me make this bigger here. Call center workers fight for good jobs in the digital age. The wages in our country have never kept up with inflation. A job that once paid $23,000 a year to start in 1968, by 1990, was only paying $16,500. There's a disparity there. I don't understand what's going on. And this links to what you were saying, TRG. Let me get off of here. Is that, you're saying here they're giving you low pay, but you expressed being uncomfortable with the rate. They said, speak to your manager. If you've already got the job, you already agreed to it. You're never going to get more pay. I mean, it's a little too late. You probably shouldn't have tried to negotiate during the hiring process, but even then, they're not going to help you out. These companies, the entire corporate landscape has changed. And this book is kind of showing me what happened. Believe it or not, there was a time when the corporate world, based off of Debbie's book, Disconnected, which as I said, I kind of I nicked, as John Lennon would say, I nicked the name Disconnected from her book, but not word for word, because mine is Disconnected Voices from the Call Center. And, you know, I think these companies at one time were big. Like AT&T was the phone company. They were all there was. Then divestiture happened and they split up the phone company to create a more competitive landscape. But it is not just in telecom, but it seems like across the board between the late 60s and the 90s, the corporate landscape changed to where it wasn't just about creating a strong product and a strong company, where the people, the C-suite people, were at that time, back then, they were thinking about not just the product, a good product, but they were trying to think about their employees and making the customers happy. Now, you fast forward, you know, almost 60 years, from 1960, 68 to now, it's all about profit. To hell with the customers, to hell with the employees, to hell with good pay. And some of these are trillion-dollar companies. I mean, Microsoft and Apple, I don't know if they're trillion-dollar companies, but they make so much money. They make more money than some countries' gross national product. And it's all about the money. Like, screw the employees. Let's cut the cost. Let's cut healthcare. Let's you know, and they get all kinds of tax abatements. They get, you know, what about us? And right now, these companies, these big Goliaths, are desperately trying to remove all the call center positions and replace it with AI. I would imagine they're working on it round the clock, because these call centers cost them millions and millions and millions of dollars. And nobody is looking out for us. Nobody's looking out for me and you that used to do this as a career. And that's why my call center, Disconnected Voices from the Call Center, is so important, because it is maybe just one symptom of an overall very maniacal corporate scheme to eliminate the employee, to throw caution to the customers. Says, God, whatever. The customers, what other choice do they have? You know, and you know, in my case, I'm a hardcore Apple person. I love buying Apple products. I've tried PCs. I don't like PCs. I had PCs in my life from day one out of college up until 2006. I bought my first Mac, and I was like, wow. It was so much easier. But they kind of got me by the short hairs. Unless I want to go over to a PC, you know, and learn that platform all over again, I'm kind of stuck. And they don't care. Apple doesn't care. Apple's customer service stinks. They don't care about you. You walk into an Apple store with the Apple geniuses, they look down their nose at you. Hello, sir. Yes, you're old. You've got your MacBook on your arm. You must be an old codger who doesn't know anything about technology like I do. A Mac genius. I can't stand walking to an Apple store. It's like walking into like a bad fraternity party. Like the betas or something like that, where they all think their shit don't stink. And it's what the corporate world's become. They don't care about you. They don't care a damn. They don't care if you live or breathe, just as long as you're forking over the dough and you're working your ass off for them and you're buying their products. Let's see here. I brought this thing close to me so I could read everything, and gosh damn it, I can't read nothing. Let's see here. Greg Saluzzi says, I worked in a call center for two and a half years. I had mental breakdown and I couldn't take it anymore. I left this last February and I am just now starting to get over the trauma. Oh, Greg, I'm really sorry to have that happen, but we've all been there. I've been there. I haven't had a complete breakdown, but I'm telling you, I've walked out of places. I just couldn't take it anymore. It's a horrible working environment. And Greg, if you want to talk about this, send me a message. at skatingbearstudios@gmail.com if you want to be in this documentary. I need stories like this. I really need your stories. And even I'm even contemplating, if you don't want to go on camera, send me your story and I'll have somebody reenact it. It might be a dramatization of in a call center, or something like you see in those TV shows like The First 48 or The Homicide Hunter, that guy with the cigarette. He reenacts things with those the detective actors that make him look like. But I need really crazy. When I look like I'm sinking into my love seat. Oh my God, I look like Jabba the Hutt. Oh, I'm sinking. But I need stories like that, and I need people that will come out and talk about it. I really, really need people on camera. So I'm bouncing around a bit, but I found out in the state next door, in the women's federal prison, that they have a call center. And they talked about this in the past. And I want to go there, and I'm in the process of I've written them a really nice email saying, hey, I didn't write to the prison, I wrote to the company. There's a company that oversees the call center within the prison. And I said, hey, I'm making this documentary. I want to come and visit the prison. And I'm like, I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm going to be in a maximum security prison, which gives me the willies. Quite frankly, I've never done anything but drive past a prison. But wouldn't it be fascinating to get inside this prison and talk to the women that are taking the calls and say, hey, what's it like? How do you like it? Is it better than sitting in your jail cell? I've got all kinds of questions I can ask. But in order to do this, I've got to drive to Indiana, spend probably the better part of 2 or 3 days. But I've also got to get security clearance to go into a federal penitentiary. I don't have a record. I have nothing in my background. So I should be able to get in. But if they, if they sense anything odd about me, which I'm a bit of an oddball, they might go, hey, sorry, Mr. Thompson, we'd love to have you, but I don't think so. But we'll see. If I can get in there and show the world, if I can get the distribution channels with this would be great. Now, it's a huge thing, and there's so many things that could happen with this film, but I just don't have the connections. I don't have the budget. I don't have the manpower. I've got friends that work in call centers, but nobody wants to be in the film. I've got one friend that said, well, I love working in call centers. This is my career for 20 years, and I just love it. But I just don't feel comfortable. I've had 2 people tell me, said they feel self-conscious. I'm like, all right, that's fine. I said that, her positive take on it would be a great juxtaposition to my negative take on it. It'd be a great, here's a little ray of sunshine in the midst of this cloudy story. But it's all coming together. At least things are happening, and I'm trying to push through it. Check the previous message. I don't know if you're talking to me. Let's see. I worked in the call center for 2.5 years. I accepted a lower rate because I was desperate out for work. It's better than nothing. But they're very cheap, and most importantly, don't care about. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I've been there too, where I've taken a call center job out of desperation, and it's funny in the job descriptions on Indeed, they'll put a range in this. I pay $15 to $20 an hour. So you think, oh wow, I've got 20 years of experience. I'd go on these interviews and say, well, I've got 20 years of experience. And they said, well, the starting rate's at 15. We're going to bring you at 15. And I said, well, it says 15 to 20. And they'll say something like, well, if you speak Spanish, you're bilingual, we'll bring you in at 20. Well, I said, the job description doesn't say that. They're like, well, whatever. So you're pretty much out of luck. They'll nickel and dime you to death in these call centers. Casbah says, I've tried emailing in from Australia, but where'd you go? It won't go through. My email is skatingbearstudios@gmail.com. Yeah, I don't know what your email is, but I don't think I've heard from you on my email. I have heard from a few people I've even passed out flyers here in town at the local coffee shops. And I heard from one lady, and she's like, yeah, I want to talk. I want to be in the film. And I wrote to her. I said, what part of town are you in? I never heard from her again. So maybe I'll hear from her. I don't know. Yeah, send me another email. And just put something in the subject field that says like call center documentary. I don't think I've blocked anybody in my Skating Bear. I don't get much in my Skating Bear email other than places I've subscribed to. So that's what's going on here. And I appreciate all of you tuning in tonight. I haven't put out much content. I'm not really sure what's happening here on YouTube. What I'm discovering here on YouTube is that I think what they want you to do here, it has nothing really to do with the algorithm. Well, it does. The algorithm sees your channel and it wants you to put content out every single day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, at the same time every day. So you're presenting yourself as a consistent creator. If you don't do that, you fall out of the loop, so to speak, with the algorithm, and everything drops off. My monetization is down. It was up really good, and then I went away for a few days to see my nieces in Columbus, and I didn't do any content creating because I was busy for 4 days straight. And then my monetization dropped off. Then I came back home and did it for a couple of days, and it kind of creeped back up. And then I got busy. I went out of town for Saturday, and that was pretty much, I was gone all day Saturday and most of Sunday, so I didn't do anything Saturday and Sunday. Bottom line is, it's just like, I'm a very poorly paid contractor who puts a good fair amount of work into this, and for what I get in return, it doesn't seem to be worth it. And it's very hard for me to continually make content for a company that has like billions of viewers and millions of creators. And if you don't create something for a couple of days, they just knock you down a peg. So if you don't see me on here much, I'm trying, but I'm also spending a lot of time writing the documentary and creating flyers and posters and campaigns and talking to people on the phone. Today, I spent the better part of the morning working on what's called it's called a casting call, I guess. Writing a casting call, trying to get people in different movie and filmmaking groups that belong to on Facebook to consider coming into the film. And I can't pay anybody. Just wanted you to come on camera and tell me your story of your call center, all that stuff. And it's almost impossible to get anybody to respond to this. But I'm finding like the more you put out there, you keep blasting it out there, I get responses here and there. Let's see here. Greg says, thank you for listening and understanding. Yeah, go ahead and send me your story, Greg. I can't begin to tell you, I've seen so many people. When I was at Verizon Wireless, the paramedics were there every month, taking somebody else out on a stretcher. And, it's just a cruel environment. And, it's not as cruel as the sweatshops of the Industrial Revolution, where they had children working in deplorable working conditions and getting killed in machines and stuff. It's not that kind of a sweatshop. It's more of a mental and emotional sweatshop. And I don't know how they did this. I don't know how the corporate world pulled it off worldwide. This isn't just here in the States. This is everywhere. But then they've convinced the people of India that they've got it made. See, the flip-flop thing is that in India and Pakistan, the Philippines, the people that work in the call centers are held in high esteem. They've got a better job than a nurse in those countries. How did the corporate world in America and the other Western countries pull it off where they developed this call center curriculum to make it universal? 2 weeks of training, 7-minute talk time, low pay, push, Get them on and off the phones. If you go to the bathroom too many times, write them up quick. If they don't do their job, get rid of them. Bring another person in. It's like almost, it's insanity, and it's everywhere. It's not just in the States. It's in the UK. It's in France. It's everywhere. And in India, they pay people a decent wage. But their decent wage there, when you couldn't even live on the street for what they're paying the people in India, but their economy is entirely different. Here, a dozen eggs is $10. I showed you a picture on YouTube the other day of this new coffee shop that opened up nearby. And my favorite drink is a cafe mocha. I always get a cafe mocha with whipped cream. So I walk in this new coffee shop and say, I'll have a cafe mocha with whipped cream. She's like, what's that there? I'm like, well, I'll just have a medium. She goes, well, we have small and large or something like that. I'm like, okay, well, I'll just take a small. Is your small like a medium? She goes, yeah, I guess so. But we don't have whipped cream. So she doesn't have whipped cream. I'm like, okay, whatever. This cup was this big. I mean, my cafe mochas I usually get are this big. They're at least 6 to 7 inches tall. This was teeny tiny. It was like almost like a shot glass it was like a double shot. So my bottom point was it was like $5 for a little tiny cafe mocha. And I don't know how anybody afford to live in this country. And all the companies nationwide, I don't know if they've all gone to some World Council meeting where they all said, hey, let's just start cutting wages. Let's start making sure people suffer. Let's start making sure, regardless of the job they have, that they're underpaid and underappreciated. How do I pop these darn questions out here? All right, let's see. This is from Casbah. I saw a woman drop dead in front of me while on the phone with a customer. The supervisor walked over and took the headset off the dead employee and put it on herself and continued to talk. Are you kidding me? Did that really happen, Casbah? I mean, nobody called 911 or anything? In shock, the supervisor said to me, the customer must not know what's happening in the call center. Well, how would the customer have any idea that the rep they were talking to just dropped dead? It's stories like that are priceless, man. I mean, I'll even hire an actor. I mean, I have my friend Jilly, who is a model, but I don't think she's an actor. And she's a very beautiful woman that I do photo shoots with. And maybe I can get her to do some reenactment, pretend she's telling stories as if she works in the call center, but just telling your stories or something like that. My mouth was open in shock, and the supervisor said to me, the customer must, okay. Did somebody call the paramedics? I mean, I kind of get it, though, because, when I was at Verizon, it was this huge call center, about like 1,500-man call center. And as far as your eye could see, there were cubicles. And across the aisle, this lady, she just let out the scream and dropped right on the floor. You could hear it all over the call center. You could feel the floor shake when she hit the ground. And I kept on with my call. I mean, what can you do? There were people around her. Somebody called the paramedics, and they came in. They knew their way into the building. I think they have some type of key card to get into the buildings. The paramedics do. They just came right in. Let's see here. TRG says, I hadn't posted for a while on YouTube, and the views are way low. Yeah, it's crazy. They get you by the short hairs in this platform. I'm fortunate that I have almost 10,000 viewers, but I swear they do something because all of you love my channel, and I get maybe 1 or 2 new subscribers a month. Sometimes I get more, sometimes I get less. But there's other channels that are like horrible. The other channels are horrible, and they've got like 500,000 subscribers. I don't know what it is. Yes, ambulance was called it, but she dropped dead instantly on a massive heart attack. But I just would have hung up the phone on that customer. Said, sorry, we've got an emergency here. Yeah, sorry about that. But that's the way it goes. So anyway, guys, thank you all for your support and watching me all these years. What started off as just one call center video about me complaining about working in call centers has evolved into 2 million views and 10,000 subscribers. And I really want this documentary to be well done. And we'll see what happens. I'm doing my best here at this end. But it's like I said, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And I hope you all have a great night. Thanks to all of you who have... Somebody bought a couple of my Nosferatu late shift T-shirts. I've got new T-shirts with... let me pull it up here. On Teespring. So you can find my store here. Listings. Click on the listings and nothing happens. I love it. Don't you love it? I love it. So here's my Anytime Now computer. Just as I said, I love Mac computers. Where the heck is my store? I am logged in, thank you. Here's my store. And well, I've got new posters for the film that I posted on here, and somebody bought a couple of my T-shirts, and I appreciate the support on that. I swear to God, do any of you work with Teespring? This has got to be one of the most non-intuitive sites. And I'm trying to move my T-shirts over to another company. But, sorry, I just don't understand. I've been on Teespring for years. And I'm still like, what do I do? I have no idea how to operate this thing. But anyway, I don't know if you can see it. I'll bring this up. I've got this new... You can't really see it, I don't think, because the pictures aren't big enough. But I've got this new design. I've got T-shirts and coffee mugs. If you want to help support the film, buy a sweatshirt in the chilly weather. It's got the logo for the poster on here. Maybe I got the disconnected. Disconnected. I don't know if I think I designed it on my other computer. I don't have it on the cloud. But if you want to support the movie, just buy one of these. You know, every dollar helps. I also have a Patreon channel. So there you have it. Thanks all for watching. I'm going to hit the bricks here. And let me know what your experiences have been. If I haven't responded to you, I've tried to respond to everybody that has written to me on my Gmail account. But sometimes they get lost and I click on them and Google sends it to the bottom of the page and I lose it and I don't know where they go. But I hope you all have a good rest of the week. And today is Wednesday, so enjoy the rest of the week and hope you have a good weekend. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support all these years and for making this channel possible. And keep the stories coming. Let me know your experiences. Hang in there if you're working at a call center. It's a rough job. And, you know, it's not going to last forever because we're probably all going to lose our jobs to AI pretty soon. Whoa, geez, I lost stand, you know. I was like, oh, geez, sounds like Bobby Kennedy. All right, guys, hope you all have a good night. And I'll leave you here with I Understand You Now. This is my song here. Song I wrote about my mom and dad. All right, guys, have a good night. Thanks a lot. Hasta la vista, baby.
My heart is torn and tattered, my ego